Okay, howdy folks, this is Todd Johnson at the J-Bit Ranch in Berryville, Virginia, and today I want to go over probably the most important thing you're ever going to learn when it comes to working with and especially riding horses, and yet it's glossed over. Sometimes it's not addressed at all. Now I've got a saying that says there is no world in which you can be bad with ropes and reins and good with horses, and yet incredibly little time is spent teaching you how to get better with ropes and reins. A lot of riding lesson programs start with the reins there from the second you sit down on the back of the horse until the second you get off his back. And that's like taking a 5-year-old and his very first day of school in his life, dropping him off and sending him into the 9th grade. That is advanced reining. That's precision reining, finesse reining. So I believe I've done this for about 28 years. I've worked with thousands of people. The last time I checked, I'd done somewhere over 35,000 hours of horsemanship instruction. I've worked with thousands of horses, and there has been one absolute constant through all of that that has never failed, and that is the folks that in the beginning take a little bit of time to get themselves confident and competent with ropes and reins, just ride off. They have a wonderful experience. They get competent very quickly with horses. They're very safe, they're very controlled, and they live their dreams. And the rest, who never just invest that little bit of time in the beginning to get comfortable and competent with these reins, get stuck very, very quickly. They can walk around, not always aim them real well. The trot is kind of ugly. Canter's usually just about off the table. If it happens, it's fast, it's racy, it's uncontrolled, and that's where they're stuck. And that's where they spend their whole horse life, usually until they get frustrated and give it up. And it doesn't have to be that way. Also, I firmly believe, and I've believed this my whole career, that anything that you can do when you are away from the horse to make you more effective and crisper and clearer for the horse when you're with him is absolutely your obligation to do. So think about it. How would you like it if the only time your dentist ever touched one of those drills was when he was sticking it in your mouth? How would you like it if your surgeon, the only time he ever touched a scalpel was when he was cutting into you with it? I'd rather my dentist is home making eggshell sculptures with his drill, becoming a virtuoso of the dental drill. I'd rather my surgeon is just mastering those tools, mastering them to an extremely high level before he ever touches a human being with him. And I believe in my heart of hearts that it's our absolute responsibility to master our tools before we go apply them to horses. They really, they endure enough through our learning, but they really don't need to endure that. So I'm going to show you the most basic day one beginner rein management process here, and yet just like all great things, the basics never go away. We'll add to them, but they never go away. So we're primarily a trail riding barn. My idea of a great day with a horse is just get out and disappear and cover lots of miles of country, and what we're doing and the way we're interacting with our horse has to be something that we can both tolerate all day long. I can't sit here, I'm going to get tired, I'm going to start to jiggle and wobble, and my horse can't take that all day long. So there's a saying that goes, anything you leave on the bridle becomes 0. If you leave 2 ounces on the bridle, it's going to take 4 to get some sort of response. If you leave 4, it's going to take 8. If you leave a pound or 2, it's going to take 10 pounds. And here's what's going to happen. So that horse, he's got to figure out how to get by. He's got to figure out how to survive this mess. And he's going to tense up, tighten up, grit up, just to protect himself, just to take care of himself. And so we don't want that to happen. So the deal that we make with our horse, and you know, when you're out trail riding, most of the time you're just walking along. When we're out walking, okay, you get 100% of the rein, but here's the deal, that's a privilege, not a right. So if the horse likes that deal, what he's got to do to keep it is maintain speed, maintain direction, and look where he's going, okay? If you do that, if we're walking in a straight line, you keep walking in a straight line, you're not tripping, you get the whole rein. If you, however, abuse that privilege, then it's going to get taken away from you. Little corrections, okay? So, and then when we're going to do things above the walk, we're going to trot. I ride gaited horses. We're going to gait. We're going to canter. We're going to want to get the slack out of those reins to do those things. And we need to be able to do that smoothly and quickly in a way that doesn't yank on the horse's mouth. So I found that the number one reason people are afraid to put their reins down is because they don't really believe that they can get them back in an instant if they need them. If their horse jumps out from under them, can they get those reins back in an instant if they need them? And so I'm going to show you how to do that. So the only problem with giving the horse the whole rein is he's got a 5-foot long head and neck and you got 2-foot long arms, okay? And so if we put a bunch of slack in that rein and then we try to use the rein from that slack position, nothing happens. It never gets to the horse. So everything we do has to begin with getting the slack out of the rein, okay? And here's a really simple way. You've already seen me do it a couple of times. If I need 2 reins, I take slack of 2 reins through one hand. Or if I need 1 rein, I take the slack of 1 rein. That's the whole deal. A lot of different configurations of that, but that's the whole deal. But here's the part that confuses folks. You've got 2 hands and they're a buddy system. The only rein or rope that matters is the rein between your hand and the horse's mouth, okay? The rein above your hand is what I call trash. What do you do with trash? You throw it away, okay? So the rein above your hand doesn't matter. The only rein that matters is the rein between your hand and your horse's mouth. So if I'm riding along and I want to take a right turn, all right? I'm going to look to the right. I'm going to begin to move my body to the right, my core to the right. Now to all my horses, we're already starting to go right. I'm going to take my left leg. I'm going to apply that left leg, and to confirm to him that what all that you're feeling means is right, is I'm going to take the slack out of my right rein and lift it up right there. I'm going to tip his nose 2 inches to the right. That's as far as I want him bent in a simple turn, and off he's going to go off to the right. When he has turned as far as I want him to turn, I'm gonna drop it. Let it go, my leg comes off, my belly button's aiming at the saddle horn again, I'm back in neutral. If I want to stop, we're walking along and I want to stop. I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna take my calves off, I'm gonna quit riding, and then I'm gonna start to bring those 2 reins in. So you see that this top hand up here, the one that's in charge of the slack, it can go anywhere. It doesn't matter because this rein isn't touching the horse's mouth. He doesn't feel what's going on between your 2 hands. He just feels what's going on from your hand to his mouth. So I can get the slack out of the rein like that. I can begin to ease him back. Or if I'm a 2 rein rider, I can drop that slack and go to 2 reins. Separate right in my hand, okay? And notice when I do separate, I separate inside of my hand, because if I separate above my hand, I end up with that rein longer. And if I separate below my hand, I end up with that rein shorter. So if I want to keep them even, lift, drop, separate. That's the whole move, okay? Now, there's a couple things I can do with my reins once I've got the slack out. If I'm using what we'd call a direct rein, a guiding rein, a rein that says go that way, I'm talking to the front feet, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get the slack out of that rein, hold it right up over his shoulder, and if we turn 3 circles, I'm going to leave that rein right there over his shoulder. I could also talk to his back feet. I'm going to pick that rein up, get the slack out of the rein, and then I'm going to bring that rein back to my thigh. That horse is going to flex his head around. I can disengage the hindquarters, anything I want to do. If I'm going for 2 reins, 2 reins. So this is a lot of talk to get you just to this point. This is what you can do sitting on your couch, sitting on your saddle in a rack, just like I'm doing, when there's no horse in sight, to get these reins mastered to a very high level before you attach them to your horse's face. And this is the whole move. Lift, drop, lift, drop. I say lift, zip, drop, lift, zip, point, like push with a leg. Lift, zip, point, push. 2 reins, lift, whoa, or back. Lift, throw, or separate, okay? And then change hands. That's all there is to it. Lift, zip, drop. Lift, zip, whoa, or back. And remember, there's got to be something in it for your horse. When you watch things like this and you go take riding lessons, you're trying to learn all the stuff to do. You're learning this part. But remember, the only part that matters to him is that part. So don't forget to give him back to him when he's been a good boy or girl and know what you ask. So that's Todd Johnson from the J-Bit Ranch, a little bit of basic rein management skills. Feel free to hit me up with any questions in the comments, and I look forward to seeing y'all on the trail.